Yes, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to Veterans Minimum. I'm your host, Nick Dais. At Nick Dais 10, as you can find me. All things Veterans Minimum is at Veterans Minimum. My guy is back in the building. Have you worn that jersey on here before?
Of course not.
Come
you know what I'm saying?
baby.
You know what I mean? I gotta keep you on your toes. The rotation is the rotation. Now I am getting some mileage out of this jersey today because I had my show earlier. So this is one of the few times you'll ever see a back-to-back like, he wore that one. But yeah, no.
Oh, bro, that ain't as bad as I got fried. I get fried to this day about I have this Space Jam jersey, t-shirt. I bought it from Marshalls for like $4.99.
Okay.
It's pretty tough though. It's like tie-dye and shit. It's fire.
Okay.
But dude, one of the most crusty things I've ever done in my life. I wore it to work with my dad. I went to the gym, lifted.
Okay.
I want you to think, as I'm telling you this, I want you to think of the smells.
Okay. All right. Gym,
I smell like bacon, egg, and cheese and fucking coffee.
Your breakfast meal. Okay.
I lifted.
Okay. I
went and I threw routes with two of my buddies.
Okay.
Like
football.
Pigskin.
I got you.
I come home. I play Xbox.
Okay.
I haven't showered yet. I recorded a pod.
Okay.
I recorded a pod. This is like the middle of the summertime now, too.
Okay.
New York City, humidity, 100% humidity.
100%.
And then I go to jiu-jitsu at night, bro.
All in the same shirt?
All in the same shirt.
Yeah, no, you was smelling like outside and bad decisions. Is what you was smelling like.
Yo, anytime I wear that shirt now, my boy Finney, shouts to Finney, he texts me, he goes, yo, bro, remember when you wore that for like 13 hours?
Everything?
You just smelled like shit, bro. That was one of the crustiest moments of my life, dude.
You smell like shit wrapped in Indian food.
Just smelled like dirt. Dirt and a dumpster, man.
That's
bro. Yo, let's show the feet because we both got.
Oh, all right. Shoe cam. Oh, wait, where am I at? Oh, there we go. All right.
Bro. Pod Griffey,
right.
you heard?
Pod Griffey, you heard? Yeah, those are actually really nice. I see you every, you know what I mean? Now we've like got a challenge every time I come in. You've been because what did you have on last time? Because no, the time before that was the Vince Carter jersey, but I'm trying to think what shoes you had.
I had the
on
pennies.
Last time. You had on pennies last time?
Yeah.
Yes, the like elite pennies, right?
Yeah.
Like they were like some exclusive type pennies.
Bro, the first thing I look at when I meet a dude is his feet.
Yeah,
Hey, that can be taken out of context, like his sneakers, bro. I look down, I'm like,
no. It's definitely.
Can it not make or break the outfit?
Oh, if you don't know what you're like, no, I will tell you the most frustrating thing. The most frustrating thing is when you see somebody with good shoes and they destroy the outfit. It's like, and you look at it as like, I wouldn't have worn them like that. That's just like, you feel bad for the shoes.
Yeah.
Like I feel bad for your shoes right now. Like the shoes they're just here. You know what I mean? But yes. How you doing, man? But shoes definitely can set an outfit off. Like it'll change everything, change how you look at an outfit. You know, it's the one thing that we have. It's expensive to be a guy. I will say that.
Man, that's the only thing I spend money on, bro.
Yeah.
Sneakers, yeah.
Yeah, I've gotten better because I haven't. The fundage has been a little low. So,
but dude, I also
lately.
I'm a sneakerhead for sure, but I wear them.
Yes,
I wear my shits. Like I probably have like close to 40 pairs of sneakers here. I got about close to maybe that much back home too, but all of them are in rotation.
Yes, as they should be.
Yeah,
like
but I know a lot, and I'm sure you do too.
Yeah.
You know a lot of people that collect sneakers and they never wear them.
Don't wear them. Like, don't wear them ever. Oh yeah, I still, I got some in the box. I'm like, in the box? I'm like a kid.
Yeah.
Like I already got plans for you. Like,
seriously.
When I buy the shoes, I'm like, I very rarely buy shoes that I don't already have like 3 or 4 outfits ready.
Oh yeah.
Like, that outfit's gonna go crazy when I wear this. So yeah, no, I don't understand that either. I probably, okay, what are your most expensive pair of shoes or like highest valued shoe now? Like if you went to resell right now on StockX, what's your highest value?
I feel
you
like
can clip this later. This is gonna be a good clip. Go ahead.
It'd probably be my Grinch Kobe's.
Oh, you're a Grinch man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude, I bought those when Cooper Kupp and the Rams won the Super Bowl.
Okay, all right.
You know how like I like to buy sneakers to represent like a
moment,
a big bet that I hit, and I bought those too. Dude, what was crazy is I think I've told this story on here too, but I know I've told this story maybe on Instagram or something. But when I bought them. So, yo, that sneaker, when Kobe passed away, people were going crazy on social media that people were taking advantage of the passing and charging them like $5,000-$6,000
for sure.
Sneakers. So when I bought them, they were about $950 with tax.
Okay,
like the shipping.
Okay,
and so I lived in Queens in my apartment in Astoria, and I lived in those like sketchy apartments that you didn't really have a mailbox.
Okay,
and it was like you weren't supposed to rent the basement. Hey man, it happened now. It is what it is, right? Shouts to Cam and Mace. But I would get everything shipped to my parents' crib.
Yeah.
I got 3 teacup Yorkies. They see sneakers, they might piss on them, they like chew at them, you know, especially the baby Lola. When they came to the crib, my mom, I was like, Mom, I got these sneakers coming. You know, be on your P's and Q's, make sure keep them shits away from the dog. Like, put them on top of the fridge. Like, don't let them get near that.
Yeah.
So my mom opened them. She's like, oh my God, these are beautiful. Hangs up the phone. Then she calls me, goes, how much you spend on these? She's like, how much you spend on these? So, you know, you got to give your parents parent price.
Yeah.
I can't tell them, tell my dad I spent $9 bills on fucking sneakers. He'll come to Queens and beat the shit out of me.
Amen.
I was like, you know, like $250. My mom goes, yeah, all right, bro. She hit me with my own line. Yeah, all right, bro.
Oh my God. All right. So my most expensive pair that I have, I got these actually retail. I won a raffle. Didn't, you know what I mean? At the time, I didn't realize what a big deal it was. Mm-hmm. But I got a pair of red Lab 411s. Like the whole shoe is patent leather. Right. They're all red. And those shoes, I think now on StockX for my size are like $4,000.
Damn.
And I've like worn them. Anytime I wear them and people know what they're looking at, they're like, bro, I will pay you whatever you want. And I'm like, bro, I have like literally like, no, dog. Like I have worn these shoes. I don't even know if I have the box. But like, yeah, it's just one of those things. It's one of those things for sure. Definitely.
The best, bro.
Yep.
I could talk about sneakers forever, dude. Where do you want to start, bro? You want to talk some football or you want to talk some UFC?
Man, we can, you know, listen. Well, are we going to talk anything about boxing as well with the Spence and Bud Crawford fight?
Sure, if you'd like to.
Yeah, definitely. We got to, you know.
That was crazy in the city, bro. In Vegas, it was nuts.
It was a lot this weekend. It was a lot. You know, we've got traffic cones in full bloom right now. You know, the traffic cone is our state flower, and it is in full bloom in the summer right now.
Yeah, listen, all you Vegas locals that wanted Formula One, this is what you wanted, right? You gotta live with it.
Well, hey, look,
y'all asked for this, right?
I will say, Formula One, for 4 days, they're gonna make, you know, $1 to $2 billion for that 4 days, for that week. I mean, they're gonna tear the city up. It makes sense. $2 billion for a week.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
But like, I guess my thing is, are we done with like medians and trees and everything in the middle of the strip now? Because if we got to go through this every year, no.
Yeah.
That's the dumbest thing I ever heard.
It's wild, man. It's wild. And the traffic Saturday night was crazy too, because I hit a bet. So I was trying to go and cash out. I wanted to go to the MGM. And it was just crazy. I couldn't get to the MGM for nothing. I couldn't get to Mandalay Bay. So I ended up going all the way to Circa, and I cashed out my bet because I had a ticket at Circa, and then I bet on the MGM app.
You just bailed out? Like, I guess I'll go to Circa now then?
No, I was going to try to go to both.
Yeah.
To just take out money. Dude, I turned $22 into $1,500.
That's the subathon that you're talking about?
Subathon.
You turned 20. Okay, let me look at the camera. You turned $22 into how much?
$1,500. Subathon, baby.
Sign up for the Patreon.
Yo,
shout out to the Patreon.
Yo, if I could get an ISO cam on this promo that I'm about to cut, thank you very much. All right, listen. I've been in the sports betting space for a long ass time, Josh. I'm very transparent. I'm very honest with people. For $5 a month on the Patreon, 16 cents roughly a day, there's not a better bang for your buck out there in the whole sports betting industry.
Yeah.
On record too. Clip this, whatever. There ain't nothing better than that, bro.
Nothing better.
Listen, there's con artists, there's scammers in the field. Yeah. There are people that steal my picks and then put them on their own. Mm-hmm. I know that for a fact. for $5 a month, bro. Come on, and you get the NFL too. You get so much shit. Like, come on, baby.
I'm still on the 16 cents a day. Sound like what was that, Sally Struthers?
Bro, I gotta break it
with the flies on the babies.
Listen, man, I gotta break it down. We gotta add context to everything. 16 cents a day, and I know a lot of you guys spend money on way worse, bro. I spend money on way worse. I give you hours of content for years and just give you these winners all the time. Make it rain. $5 a month, bro. Come on. Help the boy out. Let's go. You heard? So subathon hit.
Yeah.
And I tried to go and cash out the ticket, but it was just crazy because of the fallout of the fight. And look, I'm not gonna come off as a boxing savant. I can't score boxing the way I can MMA. I don't get it. Now, what's crazy and what was so dope about this weekend, it was the same thing with Tank and Ryan, why I got fully invested in that. And I watched the fight we had the fight on. We were watching UFC where I was at. And boxing's issue, in my opinion, as a casual, is that it's rare to have something like what happened over the weekend happen. Where you get two guys in their absolute prime, undefeated records, fighting for everything. Both champions. Yeah. Where what's dope about the UFC is since it's under one promotion, under one umbrella, under Dana White, it's, yo, we're the 185 contenders. Y'all got to fight.
Yeah, you got to see me one way or another.
You can't duck,
yeah,
bro.
Yeah. And you know what? That is something I was talking to somebody. And, when you look at these boxing cards, like I literally don't know anyone else besides the main. And I would say I'm probably a boxing casual. I might be a little bit more so than a casual because I can score, primarily, as long as it's not a guy that I'm cheering for. But somebody I'm cheering for, it does get harder. Because I'm like, he's hitting him with everything. And then and I'll watch it years later. I randomly watched the Oscar De La Hoya versus what was his name? I can't remember his name, but it was a controversial split decision, way back when. And I went back and watched it. I was a huge Oscar De La Hoya fan. And watching it as an adult, I'm like, yeah, Oscar didn't win this. But
you know what I did that with recently? Nate Diaz and Conor, the second one.
Okay.
I do that randomly. I'll go back and I'll watch fights after the hype is worn out. A couple of years later, you watching like,
it's different.
Yeah.
It's 1,000% a whole different fight.
Valentina and Nunez the second time, I'm like, I don't think that's. Where at the time, I'm like, oh yeah, Nunez won that, and then you watch it back, you're like,
it's tighter than you think.
Yeah.
Yeah. 1,000%. 1,000%.
What'd you think about the main event?
Of Spencer and man, listen, I said that Crawford, because Crawford's actually a good friend of one of my friends from college. And so we were talking about the fight, and I said that Bud was going to win by knockout. I didn't know when, because he's not really a fast knockout person, but I figured somewhere between 7 to 10, he would knock him out. And, you hear all this stuff like, oh, Spence is going to do this. Spence is the bigger guy. And I was just like, I don't know. Spence is also coming off of almost dying. Literally, he still isn't 100% right. But I knew the fight. I knew Spence was in trouble when he went down on a jab for the first time in his career. It was his first knockdown was off of a jab in round 2. I would strap in. I knew it was going to be a long fight for him. I knew it was going to be a long night.
The craziest thing about this fight from a betting perspective is when the fight opened up, Spence was minus 160.
Yeah.
And then come fight night, he was plus 180. That's a massive swing, bro. The only time you see shit happen like that is if there's a leak to the media or to some people and they're like, he might be hurt.
Yeah.
To see it switch that much and people just kept hammering Crawford. And I mean, shit, he looked minus 900 in that fight.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. It literally was bad. Spence, his if you go back and watch, his corner kept asking him to get off the midline. He was not moving. He was getting hit with literally everything. And at no point, I would say the only time where I was like, oh, this could be a decent fight was the beginning of the third round after he had been knocked down, and he came out like a house on fire in the beginning of round 3 and was really, really, applying pressure. that's when I was like, oh, okay, he might, it might be a fight. Crawford recalibrated and went back to work, and I don't think Spence ever even really got off the rest of the fight. Really.
Bro, you know how they talk about how there's levels
Yeah.
to just everything?
Yes.
Man, the fact that he was doing what he was doing to Spence and then he's yapping to Charlo in the crowd, like, yo, you next, bro. It's like, holy shit. That's crazy. I was showing the guys in the control room about Max Holloway when he was fighting Calvin Kattar.
Yeah.
And he was talking to the commentator.
I'm the best boxer in the UFC, baby.
Yeah, count it up. Count it up.
Yeah.
And it was just so crazy, bro, to see that happen.
But, I mean, he turned his head. Max Holloway literally looked over here, ducked a punch, and then threw another punch back. That was insane. That was so wicked. That was a whole, like, that literally is still probably, that out of all the Max Holloway moments, that's probably my favorite.
Yeah.
Because I remember watching that live, like, oh, he is literally like
that's next level locked in.
Yeah.
That's like God mode, honestly.
Yeah.
Dude, they showed a compilation on TikTok. Not that kind of compilation, bro. I saw how your eyes perked up.
I mean,
but that compilation of Mayweather, like the 10 times that he locked in and went into God mode.
Yeah.
It's like they're talking about a football game. He's like, I'm on the Falcons.
Yeah.
Just jabbing people. Or the commentator. The commentator was saying to his co-host, he threw that combination twice. He's like, nah, I've thrown it 3 times. And then he throws it, he's like 4 times. Yeah. It's like, God damn, bro, the levels is crazy. That's what makes you great though, too.
Yeah. When you're that, especially also that, I won't say that's disrespect to the other fighter, but I don't respect anything that you're doing right now. Like there's nothing that you can do that's going to affect me and pull me out of myself. Like you said, that's locked in.
Yeah.
That's locked in on another level. What did you think about the UFC this weekend?
I thought it was a fun card. I thought it was a really fun card. The way it turned out was how I expected. When I looked at the matchups, I knew immediately that we were going to get a lot of finishes. Just felt like one of those cards because I always talk about this from a betting perspective. And then it kind of, when you pivot into like the actual breakdown of the fights, there are certain matchups that you just know it's path to victory for one fighter or another.
Yeah.
First fight of the night, Cachoeira against Maverick. Cachoeira, her nickname is Zombie Girl. She's either going to walk you down, beat you on volume, or knock you out, or she's going to get submitted because that's what Maverick could do well.
Yeah. Maverick
ends up submitting her. Chiesa and Holland, both those guys, they hunt finishes. Derek Lewis comes out guns blazing.
I knew Derek. Like, when I saw that as a dog, I was like, if you don't thump Derek Lewis as a dog,
yeah,
I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, and it's fascinating because I talked about this when I went on VSiN, and I think I hinted at it with Tony. That didn't work out well. But with Derek Lewis, this happens all the time where you look at fighters and they're on a losing skid, but the level of competition, it's champion, number 1 contender, top 5 guy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're losing to them. And then you get a massive drop down in the level of competition like he did against De Lima. And then on the flip side, it's a massive step up.
Yeah.
Now, did he catch him by surprise with the flying Masvidal knee? Yeah, I'm sure he did. He didn't expect that. But Lewis as a dog, Lewis by knockout at plus 250, Lewis in round 1 where you know that he has to put him out in round 1. It's also heavyweight. The majority of his wins come in round 1.
Yeah.
This is what I mean by finding misprices in the market and value, because people like throwing that word value around, but they don't get it, right? Like, why not bet Lewis plus 250 by knockout where all his wins are by knockout as opposed to plus 180?
Yeah, he's not going to submit.
Right.
And it's more than likely not going to go to a decision. So the numbers, if you're going to win, you're going to win. If you lose, of course, you're going to lose. But if you're going to win, I'm going to win this way.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. And then with the main event, what's crazy, dude, and the main event inspired a post that I put out on Instagram, and it was something along the lines, and I'm going to reiterate because I don't have it with me in front right now. But, dude, with every week that goes by, I fall more in love with MMA. And it's not just because I train, because I don't train MMA. I just do jiu-jitsu. But, dude, week in, week out, we see shit we've never seen before.
Yeah.
And there's no other sport like MMA where things could look great until it doesn't.
Yeah, like everything was going great. Everything was good.
I thought I didn't bet on the main event because I was like, you know what, man, this is gonna be such a good fight, right? Like I did like early in the week, I liked Dustin, but as we got closer, I was leaning towards Justin, and I was like, you know what, man, let me just sit back and enjoy this. I hit my nice bet. I was chilling. I was up. Let's just enjoy this one. And I thought the first round, Dustin won it. Competitive, but I thought he won it.
Yeah.
And he looked fine. Didn't take a lot of damage. Kind of looked good until it doesn't. And that's what's crazy about MMA, because in every other sport, Josh, you see the momentum start to
shift, change.
And it's an avalanche, right?
Yes,
and then eventually you can't move away from it. Where in MMA, bro, it's not it's one hit and is done.
Well, you talked about Shevchenko earlier. That literally
good call.
When I talked to her, so I saw her before 290, and we were talking. I was just telling her, I was like, hey man, like I really respect it, and I think you gained so many fans just from how you responded. And she was like, it's the fight game. Like anything can switch, happen very quickly. But I mean, she was winning that fight. Now, granted, again, I was cheering for her. I was in the arena, and of course, I'm pulling and I'm seeing it a certain way. So maybe if I watch it again, like we said, you never know. But all in all, we would all say that she was winning that fight.
Oh, yeah.
Outside of some shenanigans with the judging, she was on her way to another victory.
No, there wasn't going to be shenanigans there because the live odds flashed during the fourth round and she was like minus 1,200 and it was definitive. Yeah. But then again, she throws that spinning wheel
kick and missed.
Yeah.
And listen, I will say in that arena, when she grabbed her back, it was like she got a lot of time.
Yeah.
Because I want to say it was like a minute 30.
Yeah.
And like,
dude, I was there for that. Yeah.
Were you there for that one?
I was there for that one. That was
okay.
That was John Jones.
Oh, that's right. Yes,
dude. What's crazy is subathon. I do it every week.
Yeah.
$25 parlay. I pick 3-4 fighters to win by submission. That card, I had Valentina, Shavkat, and John Jones to all win by sub. And then my friend was like, "Bro, you should have bet." Obviously, hindsight is 20/20.
Sure.
Grasso, one of her paths to victory was going to be by submission in that fight.
That was her only bet.
And dude, also like that would have paid $25. Paid like 2,200 just those three. Imagine with Grasso, probably would have paid like 5K because she was like 12-1 to win by sub.
Right, yeah. Anyway,
that shit would have been wicked, bro.
Oh wow, that is crazy. Can you get that on like William Hill and those?
Yeah.
I've never seen that before.
So you can bet depending on the sports book. You can bet how a fight will end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
One of the sponsors of the show, Alpha Book, they offer that too.
Okay.
So fight ends by knockout. Fight ends by submission. Fight ends by decision.
Yeah.
That's a cool bet to make.
Yeah.
Like Chiesa and Holland going back to this pay-per-view over the weekend.
Sure.
I had Holland by sub. I had Chiesa by sub. And then I also sprinkled in a parlay. Fight ends by submission. So if Holland goes out there and he knocks him out, I lose everything. But I thought that the fight played out the way it did.
That was a crazy. I mean, look, shout out to Kevin Holland who did play in. I didn't realize he had the fight this week, and because he played, he played in the Fight Hoops Classic that cost us. Well, wait, all right, let me. It has been a minute since I've been on the show, so let's back up. How do you feel sitting next to someone that has changed history? That's You
inspired a video that got about 20,000 views.
Really?
Yeah. How 205 is cursed. The 205 division is cursed since John Jones first got the belt.
Oh, bro, like seriously, like.
Listen, man, do you feel bad?
Yes. Well, okay, all right. So I don't want to give out too much in terms of Jamal because I know, a lot of stuff is said in confidence. So, but I'll just say, it was a great game. Yeah, I mean, everybody was having fun. A couple guys backed out because they had fights coming up. Bubba Jenkins didn't back out. Bubba Jenkins is fighting this week. Ode Osborne backed out because he had a fight.
Also this week.
Yeah, also this week. Sean O'Malley didn't want to because he had the fight. And so we basically we were going to go either Aljo or Sean O'Malley. We decided to go Aljo. Aljo said that he was going to fight. He said he was going to do it, but then the fight we also weren't sure if they were going to fight or not, so then he ended up not doing it. But, when it happened, when it happened, Derek Brunson, shout out to Derek Brunson, who also was in the game. Derek kind of like him and Jamal got tangled. So it wasn't like, it wasn't non-contact. And so my first thought when I went over to talk to Jamal was, hey, like, what happened? Because, like, I thought it was his ankle. I thought he just rolled his ankle. So I was like, oh, he'd be all right. He rolled his ankle. We all rolled our ankle. So, but he was, like, really upset. And then he immediately got, like, a little bit more nervous. And, and of course, as a guy, like, for one, I'm a coach. So the first thing that you ever want to do with anybody that gets hurt is keep them calm and keep them positive. Like, don't let them start going down, spiraling like, oh, it could be this. And it's like, no, it ain't that. It ain't that. But he, yeah, it was wild, man. And to like be a part of that, shout out to the Schmo. Me and the Schmo put on the game together. And, we had a great time. Like I said, Daniel Cormier, I was on Daniel Cormier's team this year. Jamal didn't pick me up, see. You know what I'm saying? This would have never happened if he would have put me on his team like we all had planned. I forget who he picked, and I was like, him? All right.
Yo, bro, also, you know who else didn't get the call up? Paul Pierce Jr.
Listen.
Yo, Paul Pierce was here for It Is What It Is.
Yeah.
And in between one of the shows, I went up to him. I was like, yo, bro, I hated you growing up. He's like, where are you from? I was like, New York. He's like, yeah, I used to kill y'all. I was like, yo, you did. And then he's sitting over there, and I was like, yo, bro, I tell everybody that you're my NBA player comp. He just goes, nah. I was like, damn, Paul, I didn't know you was going to 10-8 me, bro.
No.
Because, I play mad, like, slow and methodical. Like Paul Pierce did.
Yeah.
Paul Pierce, Paul Pierce, Tim Duncan, Luka, they all play
under control at their pace.
78 speed on 2K. Like, that's how I envision them. Like, but from rookie year to the end. That's also why they play for so long, Yeah. Chris Paul kind of the same way.
I never lost a step. I never had a step to lose.
You know what I'm saying? That's how I was, bro.
That's fair.
But he 10-8'd me, son. He was like, nah.
Man, listen, me and Paul Pierce, we have had some run-ins. Like some negative run-ins at the club, on the court. Yeah. Like, okay.
But I wanna go back to this basketball game though, man, because accidents happen, dude.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I don't think you should be too hard on yourself.
I mean, it was.
And also, like, I haven't told you this because when I started hearing about like the reports of the basketball game, I don't want to be that guy to hit you up and be like, "Yo, tell me about it," like.
Oh yeah, no. Look, it was rough. It was rough. Those next, that next 2 weeks, because Jamal stayed here because he couldn't. We were trying to figure out what he was gonna do, where he was gonna get his surgery and all that kind of stuff. Thank God he went to L.A. and not to New York, because so he was considering the doctor, the surgeon that did Kevin Durant in New York, or the surgeon that did Kobe and Cam Akers here in LA. And so he ended up going with the one in LA. And my main thing I was telling him was based around, when you have an injury and you get on a plane, the pressure, all that kind of stuff, like balloons the injury. And him having to fly cross country back because he's going to do what he was doing his rehab. He is doing his rehab here in Vegas. It was like, bro, like not over, because it was basically over a few days. Like the surgeon in New York could do it right now, whereas the LA surgeon, he had to wait a couple extra days because of I want to say he was in Greece. The guy was in Greece. He was taking a vacation. And so, my peoples. So he had to wait for him to get back in town. And I was like, bro, just please, just wait the extra 2 days. Like, I promise you, those 2 days aren't saving your recovery. But you fly to New York and fly back, like, it's going to be uncomfortable. And so it was enough of a struggle for him just flying the 45 minutes back from LA. I'm just thankful it all worked out. So.
Let's give a shout out to our sponsor, Alpha Book Bet. As you can see, the lovely, lovely background that we got right here. alphabookbet.com. Head on over there and use the promo code VM50 to receive $50 in bonus money on top of a $100 bonus when depositing $100. So if you go to alphabookbet.com, use the promo code VM50. When you deposit $100, you're going to get $100 in bonus money. And with VM50 as a promo code, you're going to get an additional $50. So deposit $100, you'll get $150 to play with. What's better than that? You know how I have to look out for you legends with this promo code. AlphaBookBet.com is the #1 sports book for UFC and martial arts. You know how we get down with the UFC, especially after last week when we hit that subathon, baby. Kevin Holland with the Dais choke. Daddy Dais is in the building. Like I said, they're the #1 sports book for UFC and martial arts. They offer some of the best lines out there right now, truthfully. And my favorite thing about Alpha Book, they put out the lines relatively early. And you guys know how much we love the props too. So they have them up right away. And it's dope. And they've been awesome so far. So head on over there, show them some love. And let's talk a little bit about the card this weekend. A banger of a main event between Corey Sandhagen and Rob Font. Now, when you go to put some bets on Alpha Book Bet, you're going to see that it's under the Sandhagen versus Nurmagomedov. That fight got canceled, but Sandhagen is still headlining against Rob Font. Last time we saw Rob Font, a massive, massive first-round stoppage against Adrian Yanez. Now, Rob Font is going up against Corey Sandhagen, a massive, massive step up in competition. I think Corey Sandhagen is a future champion at 135. I know he looked bad against Aljamain Sterling. Aljamain Sterling really just dominated him the last time that them two fought, the only time that them two fought. But now Sandhagen is coming into this fight, and he is a 1.28 favorite on Alpha Book Bet, meaning $100 returns you $128. So he's the favorite in this fight, and I like Sandhagen in this fight. I like Sandhagen a lot. I think Sandhagen beats everyone at 135. And the coolest thing about Corey Sandhagen is that he's complete everywhere. Good top game, good striking, elite striking, I'd say, super durable, and submissions. Guy has it all. A minus everywhere, the kind of fighter that I like to bet on. Now, Rob Font, on the other hand, has definitely what they say a puncher's chance. If you want to bet Rob Font, I'm not opposed to betting Rob Font. I would look to the under 4.5 rounds at 1.85, meaning if you put $100 on the under, you win back $185 with your money. So it's pretty much a coin flip depending on whether you like the over or the under 4.5 rounds. But I think this fight ends inside the distance. Rob Font is definitely a live dog. He's a guy that I like to describe in the fight game as someone that's going to fight for your money. I know it sounds super basic, but Rob Font is going to go out there and he's going to deliver. He is a dude he's a tough out. He's definitely a tough out, and he comes from an amazing camp. The New England Cartel, what a dope nickname for a gym out there up in the New England area. But I like Corey Sandhagen to win this main event. Taking him on the money line, I think he's a fine piece for a parlay, as we do every week. Corey Sandhagen, I think, is a future champion at 135. He's still relatively young. You know, he's 31 years old. But especially in the fight game, he still has like 2 to 3 more years in his prime. And I think Corey Sandhagen is such an amazing fighter, man. Such an amazing fighter. Like, not only just a complete fighter, he's also just anytime, any place. He was fighting a guy in Umar who nobody wanted a part of. He dropped and he said, who's next? Give me somebody. And especially after the last time we saw Corey Sandhagen where he just violated Chito Vera, I like Corey Sandhagen to continue the momentum. And then when you move down the card, the return of Tatiana Suarez. Tatiana Suarez, for those of you that don't know, she is a pretty sizable favorite this weekend against Jessica Andrade, a former champion in the UFC, and I feel like it's fair to say she's a gatekeeper now for a lot of people. Went out there against Erin Blanchfield. Yan Janan, she fought her and got knocked out in the first round. So she's been stopped last couple of fights. but she also has the namesake. And now Tatiana Suarez probably would have been champion already at 115 if it wasn't for all these unfortunate injuries that she's had in her career the last couple of years. They called her the female Khabib. And you guys know how Khabib is. He is a dominant wrestler, and that's exactly what Tatiana Suarez is. She probably has the best. She's the best at one thing more than anyone else is the best at one thing in the whole women's division. Like, her wrestling is so elite that her wrestling, her A game, which is wrestling, is better than anyone else's A game in whatever other aspect of MMA that they have. The only other person I could think of is like Mackenzie Dern with the submission stuff, because she is a ADCC world champion also, which, if you're not familiar with the jiu-jitsu tournaments, that's like the World Cup, right? In comparison, that's like winning a World Cup is winning a ADCC. And that's how good Mackenzie Dern is as that. But Tatiana Suarez is an amazing wrestler, and I think she's just going to maul Jessica Andrade. I think both the co-main and the main event are fights that I think are going to go one way. I think both the favorites are going to go out there and win, and I'm looking at a parlay of Corey Sandhagen and Tatiana Suarez on the money line. $100 wins you $61 in profit, so you're looking at like a minus 140 parlay on two big favorites is what I'm looking at on alphabookbet.com. You get 1.61, and I'm going to go ahead and place that. I'll show you guys the receipts for this bet if you go to the social media at Veterans Minimum on all social media. So yeah, that is all for the UFC. That is all for us with alphabookbet.com. Remember, go use the promo code VM50 when depositing $100. They're going to match that $100, and they're going to give you $50 more. So a $100 deposit, use the promo code VM50. You're going to get $150. Holy shit. I mean, what's better than that? That's, you could turn that $150 into a lot. All right, we turned $22 into $1,500 last week. So follow the picks, follow the show, and yeah, big ups to alphabookbet.com. All right, before we continue the show and talk some football with my guy Josh, big ups to the members of the Patreon. We got Tristan Ratzlav, Abel Rezin, Ben Coates, and Christopher Velasquez, Derek Platees, Jerry Shapiro, Jordan Riley, Mike Wozniak, Nick Crummich, Thomas Robinson. Also big ups to Joe Herrera, pledging $102 for the year to the Patreon. Thanks, man. Do me a favor and DM me, and I'm going to send you some merch. That is one of the perks if you join for the entire year. So Joe Herrera, you're going to get some merch. And as you can see here on the screen now, we got a Legends tier, which is for $1. You don't really get any cool shit. You kind of just give us $1 because, like, Josh, you ain't going to even realize $1 on your transactions, are you?
$1?
Yeah, $1, bro.
Man, listen.
If we get 10,000 people to give us $1,
that's $10,000.
You know what I'm saying?
I know how it adds up.
We got to get you in.
Yeah, look, it takes what it is. You know, look, listen, once you give up that $1 and then you start seeing what these other people are getting for $5 and $10, you start to look at yourself a little bit different.
We got a $5 tier, which is the most popular. We got a $10 tier. We got a $20 tier and a $40 tier. Those in the $20 and the $40 tier, you'll be eligible in the month of August and September. Please, before week 1 for the Eliminator contest, we're going to give away $1,000 or potentially a trip to Vegas sometime in the spring, depending on how many people join this competition for August and September. And you just need to pledge just once. So if you just pledge in the $20 or $40 tier just one time between now and week 1, you'll get an invite to the Eliminator contest. And one of the reasons why I'm saying please don't wait until September is because I don't want to have to scramble looking for emails and making sure that Josh, hypothetically speaking, got his email so he could be in there. So try to join early. And yeah, support for the show comes from patreon.com/veteransminimum. Okay. Enough about that. I want to pick your brain about a theory I have.
Uh-oh.
You know I'm locking in right now when I'm moving the laptop.
Yeah, I got to stretch. You start talking theories, and, that scratches a different spot. Pause.
Okay, so year in, year out, we get really excited for the NFL to start,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Okay. Year in, year out, the first week, 2 weeks of training camp, guys start dropping like flies. Last week, we saw Jalen Ramsey get hurt. He is expected to be back December.
That I saw that too. That's crazy. December.
Tim
just
Patrick.
Just sit out the whole year.
Yeah, Tim Patrick, Broncos wide receiver, I think tore his Achilles today. He's coming off of ACL surgery last year. I don't know if it's the same side. We saw Joe Burrow go down.
Yes.
Non-contact. We saw Kadarius Toney already hurt. He knows why he's doing that. He knows why he's doing that. I try to tell you guys. I don't wish injury on anyone. I never do. Dude, ever since I tore my ACL,
Yeah.
prior to that, it was like sports hate, you know?
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I'm transparent.
Yeah.
Yo, fuck this guy, man. Why can't he get hurt? You
Yeah.
know? So I tore my knee. I was like, man, I don't wish this on nobody. Really don't. For real. I swear to God. And this was to 2013.
Yeah.
You know? A lot of times I wanted Deshaun Jackson to pull a hamstring because he would just 5 for 200 the Giants twice a year and then the punt return. But these injuries, on a serious note, I was like, how come all these guys, I read a stat that 70% of injuries happen in the first 2 weeks in the NFL preseason.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes sense. My theory is that you're kind of training in the offseason. How hard are you going? How serious are your workouts? Yeah, you're staying in shape, but then preseason comes around.
Yeah.
You're going into camp, and I know the guys that I mentioned aren't fighting for their spot, but they're guys that are undrafted. There's rookies. There's new guys on the team trying to take your place or take your reps. And now you're inserted into a situation where you haven't gone 100 since January.
That's right.
And now you're coming in and it's camp and you're doing one-on-ones, you're doing 7-on-7s, you're doing red zone drills, and now you're going 100. And I was thinking over the years, all the injuries that happened around this time. And I asked my buddy Nick, shout out to Nick Mancuso. He was my best friend in college. We're still friends to this day. We went to Buffalo State together. He has his own performance center in Rochester, New York. Elevate, hold on, I have it right here. Come on, don't do this to me now. Elevate 585. Check that out if you're in the Western New York area. He's a personal trainer, fitness trainer. He's worked with some like professional athletes, professional fighters. So I was like, dude, is there any truth to this? And he's like, yeah, there's a lot of truth to this. What happens is nowadays with social media also is you see these athletes are going to train with these guys that are not in the space. They're not educated in the space. They kind of just got popping on social media, and now they're giving out fitness plans and fitness workouts, and you see that shit all the time, right? And what happens is these guys go and they work out with them, and they think they're getting good work in, but they're only breaking their bodies down without realizing. And 70% of these injuries that happen in the preseason happen in those first 2 weeks. What are your thoughts on my theory with that?
Well, look, your theory is 100% right. And look at it this way. So if our last work was January, right? That's the last time we were doing serious work. And then we obviously we're working out, we're doing OTAs, we're doing mini camp, all of those things. But in those situations, you're not going 100. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not 100. You're going 85, you're going 75, even if you're running hard. But to your point, you get back to training camp, and now I got to fight for my spot again. I'm going 1,000. I'm not even going 100. I'm going 1,000. A lot of times when you think about it, Achilles, your knee, tear a hamstring, your calf.
It's like the fast twitch muscles.
Yeah.
It's always those.
Yeah, you don't see very many people, well, you know what? No, that's not true. I've seen some torn pecs. I forget who tore a pec in training camp I saw, and then I think somebody else tore their bicep muscle. Like, you don't think that those things add up, but it's like, camp is about ramping back up into football shape. There's, we always talk about playing shape, and there's I'm in shape, and then there's in shape in game,
Right.
And that's a totally different level of shape. So it's right into your theory. That's not incorrect at all.
Because, dude, I was watching the video of Joe Burrow, and reports are he's probably just going to sit out. I mean, they should, right? Just sit him out. Like, how do you feel about training camp? Do you think everyone should participate? There's another theory that I have. I feel like if you're a proven commodity, I'm good with you.
I will say I think you should, because look, we'll talk about Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow, he has yet to have a preseason. 2020, COVID, no preseason. 2021, remember he tore his ACL.
Recovery from ACL surgery.
So he only had 3 snaps that preseason. Last year, his appendix ruptured. No preseason. And this year, calf strain. Like he doesn't play in the preseason. But what I will say is,
here's the thing. Can we say with this? Do we need him to?
Yes, because the Bengals they haven't really been fast starters. If you look at it like that.
That's a fair assessment.
You know
and how
saying?
much of that is because Joe Burrow isn't playing in the preseason? However, it's like
I think it is something. I
don't
know how much of a something it is, but I think it is something.
So if you're a quarterback and you are the solidified quarterback for the team,
yes,
I'm okay with you not playing preseason.
That's fair. But I do need you to be at training camp and practicing
for sure. Yeah,
he's not going to practice.
Right.
Because
he got hurt.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you're a quarterback that goes to a new team,
got to play.
You got to play.
Yeah.
You're a wide receiver that goes to a new team. That's why you see D-Hop with the Titans.
Yeah.
Because you don't know the timing of your quarterback. You don't have the rhythm. That's completely different. Now, if you're Tom Brady and Edelman, I didn't need to see them play in the preseason or practice. It's like, no, we're good. We have a 10-year sample size.
We know what you are.
Together. We're fine.
Yeah.
Now, the thing that was so fascinating about Burrow is I think right now, a month away from week 1, they're my early pick to win the Super Bowl. If I'm not looking at betting lines, if I'm not looking at where the value is, like what's the best bet on the board, I think it's the Bengals at 10-1. Big reason why, the main reason why is Joe Burrow. We all know that. But dude, I was thinking, like when I saw him limp up and he got carted off the field, and I'm glad that it's nothing serious, but this is going to be something that's going to linger the rest of the year.
For sure.
We're going to have to worry about that.
It
ain't going to be right. Bro, how many players in the league? I think he's the number 1 player in the league who, if he went down, the domino effect
1,000%
is like no one else in the league.
Well, you know what? Because we'll think about it this way too. Their offense orbits him. You know what I'm saying? Their offense orbits him. It orbits Jamar Chase. But you're right. Listen, Andy Reid has shown he can make it work with whoever's under center. Now, granted, Mahomes, we're not going to hit the echelon that Mahomes is hitting, but I'll still win us some games. So if Patrick can come back, we'll be all right. We'll weather this storm.
But I'm thinking bigger than that. The trickle-down effect of him potentially being hurt.
Yeah.
I think there's no one else comparable in the league because it's going to alter player contracts.
Oh, you're talking big picture.
I'm going deep. I'm going
picture,
ankle deep on this.
Yes.
I'm talking player props from a betting perspective. Chase is my pick to be offensive player of the year.
Fantasy
football.
Done.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Division outlook. Now all of a sudden, conference outlook, NFC conference. Like, if you have the Bengals now on your schedule and something happened to Burrow, you're like, that's probably a win. Dude, I don't even know who the backup is. Brandon Allen? That's who it was last year.
God, I don't know either. That is crazy. That's
contract negotiations. Like this is something that if anything happened to Joe Burrow, I think the Bengals' window to win is right now.
Why did I just Google Bengals roster and hold on, I'll show you what it said. It literally put up Joe Burrow. Look, Bengals roster, Joe Burrow.
Hey, listen, man, kind of true, right? Kind of true.
Crazy.
But dude,
that is crazy.
Also, I think the window for the Bengals is right now. They're so young. They're so explosive. They're so good. They're battle tested. They've been to a Super Bowl.
They're not afraid.
They're not afraid. Yo, they're the one team in the league that don't give a fuck.
They are not afraid of Patrick Mahomes, and that is probably the biggest compliment you can give anybody else that's in the league right now is that they're not afraid, because every other team, listen, we can say all we want, but we're also we know what Arrowhead is. We know what the Chiefs look like. The Bengals are like their mayor is talking trash. Like it's crazy.
They feed off his swag too.
Yes.
Like
yes,
that's another trickle down effect.
Yes, they do.
And I think the window for them to win is right now. And the roster is ready. It's young. However, no one has gotten paid on this roster yet. The 2 receivers haven't gotten paid. Joe Burrow haven't gotten paid. Those 3 guys alone, bro, you're looking at like $100 million on the cap.
Yes.
50
Tomorrow.
for Burrow, definitely 30 for Chase, setting the new market. And then what, 20 plus million, 25 million to Higgins if he was to stay there?
Oh, do you want to know who the backup quarterbacks are?
Is it Brandon Allen?
No.
Who is it?
Trevor Siemian, Reed Sinnett, and Jack Browning. They're in trouble.
Yeah.
If he misses a snap, let alone a game, snap.
There's not a player in the NFL who the potential absence from his team has a bigger trickle down effect in the entire league than him.
Yeah.
And not only for this year, for years to come.
Yeah.
That's why when he went down, it was like, no, man, not like that. Don't do that.
Well, I'm just glad that it wasn't his knee. Because that was what I thought. I thought it was he tore his ACL, and I was like, again?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, because it was
good.
scary, dude. He just went down with no contact. It was like, for fuck's sakes, man. We can't even get through the first weekend, and dudes are dropping like flies.
Yeah.
And I think going back to what I was talking about before, dude, I think that's a real thing where you're asking these guys to all of a sudden just go 0 to 100. And that's why I think as players get older, you would always hear these stories of, dude, Michael Strahan, the year the Giants won the Super Bowl in 2007 with him, I think he paid like $2 million in fines to not practice and just showed up week 1.
Yeah.
He's like, I've been in the league for 15 plus years. I'm not trying to do this. It's weird, man. The preseason, it's so crazy. And, unfortunately, Garrett Wilson even like left a practice last week, got rolled up on. He's fine. He practiced again, but you just see it happen time and time again. And it's so brutal, dude.
Yeah. Look, and that is, I will say some seasons are lost in August.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like where
it's very rare where you're going to have the greatest show on turf happen, where Kurt Warner comes in and they rally and they win a Super Bowl. Like that hasn't happened since. It's an outlier.
We're looking for it to happen this year in DC. Yeah. We're looking.
Wait, you don't like Howell?
Oh no, Howell's the guy.
Howell's the guy. Okay.
We're howling with Howell.
Yeah. Oh man. It just sucks, dude, because then the counter could be like, hey, this could all happen week 1. But it's like, yeah, at least I know that I'm going into the season with all my bullets in the chamber.
Yeah, at least let us have a chance. Like if somebody drops along the way, let us at least start. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it's big players. You know what I mean? Like certain positions you just can't lose. Like you lose a top flight receiver, you lose a top flight corner, like, the Dolphins with Jalen Ramsey. You lose any of your skill position guys, it's tough because you're not going to just be able to respond and replace him tomorrow. You know what I mean? You can lose your top flight offensive lineman and y'all can get by. I'm not saying that you're going to be nearly what you were, but as long as you don't take, continued absences, you can get by. You lose a receiver, a quarterback, a running back, a corner, even a linebacker. Any of those guys go down, your team is immediately different.
Yeah.
Like the way it operates is totally different.
Yeah, for sure. Especially if they're the best at their position too on your team. It goes a long way. But also, another thing that became super popular amongst the betting community many years ago was the term cluster injuries. I've talked about that a bunch too. It's when cluster injuries is when you have a bunch of injuries happen to one position group.
Yes.
That can be just as devastating. And I'd even argue that it's more devastating. If you have...
That's worse.
Let's look at the Kansas City Chiefs. I always come back to this because I think that's the best case study for why you should never boo an offensive lineman that gets picked in the draft when your team takes an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
They always get booed, right? Like offensive linemen always get booed because it's not a sexy pick. He's not going to start on your fantasy team. But the Kansas City Chiefs, when they played that Super Bowl against the Tampa Bay Bucks, they had 4 new starters on the offensive line playing. Sorry, it was 3 new starters, 4 new positions going into the Super Bowl against the Bucks. What ultimately cost them? Pat Mahomes had like 500 yards of scrambles
Yes.
Like they did an advanced metric where that's
Yeah.
how much he ran to buy himself some time.
With a bad foot.
With a bad foot. Yeah. He ended up having like ankle surgery or some shit.
That's right.
Like, it was
Right
something-
after.
Yeah,
Remember
it was
that?
bad.
Right
It was
after.
bad. So
Yeah.
the offensive line, that was cluster injuries that happened to them. When a
Yeah.
team loses like 3 or 4, the Baltimore Ravens 2 years ago, they lost their entire DBs.
Yes.
All of them. They lost all 4 of them.
Well, remember they lost all their running backs. Like, what was that, last year or a
Yeah.
year before, where they like all 4 were gone?
Yeah.
They were getting me and you out there running
that's
up the middle.
That's also a big reason why cluster injuries, I think, might be more devastating to a team than if they lost their number 1 corner and number 1 wide receiver.
Oh, for sure, because that whole side, whatever that position is,
Yeah.
I don't even know who we have. You know what I mean? Like, if you lose 2-3 receivers, you have the Giants last year.
Yeah.
The Giants. You guys had, hyphenates and whatever the fifth. what was it?
Isaiah Hodgins.
What was it? Stills the fifth. Or
Stills
whatever?
the fifth. Yeah.
Like you guys were out there with some such and such, and we're making it work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff. It's bigger. It's bigger than just oh, we can figure it out. Like it's next man up until it gets to the point where it's like we ain't got no men's left. Like you know what I mean? So we'll see.
Yeah, it's a fascinating conversation to have, man. I found it really intriguing. I took the weekend to really like think this through and wonder why. And that's what I came to. And then shout out to my buddy Nick Mancuso, who gave me the professional insight. Be like, yeah, man, there's a lot of truth to that.
Yeah.
That's something that you gotta ease into it. But also you can't go 0 to 100 right away.
Yeah.
Which is what's dope about like jiu-jitsu also, to bring jiu-jitsu into this. It's like every live roll is kind of you're going 100. So everything simulates an actual exchange. But like when you're sparring with someone, like me and you spar, we could do like patty cake.
Yeah.
Like you throw a combo, I throw a combo.
You can't half do jujitsu.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah.
You can't. You can have to sparring.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Like till somebody gets hit for real, and it's like, hold on. Like
yeah. You hit as hard as you get hit.
Yeah.
For me, you could do all that. If you hit me with one and it's like stiff and you're like, oh, so that's what we're doing. I bet. Don't learn.
Say less.
Say less. Say less. Hey, man, chime in. Let us know what you guys think about this conversation. Hit us up at Veterans Minimum on all social media outlets. On Friday, the episode with Brandon Marshall is coming out. If you are listening to this, you probably heard this already on the Patreon. It's up on Patreon, patreon.com/veteransminimum. At Nick Dais 10 is where you can find me. And my guy, Josh, tell the people where they can find you. Tell the people about this fun interview that you did.
Man, well, so today on the American Fan 365, which is my podcast, shout out to my podcast, we actually had Sean Merriman, the All-Pro. I didn't realize he was an All-Pro 3 times. He corrected me. Wikipedia steered me wrong again. I was doing my opener, and he was like, yeah, actually, I had 3 All-Pros. I was like, 3? Dang. But great conversation with Sean Merriman. Check me out on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook. Lord, what else? Twitter, Spotify.
Tables, ladders, chairs. Oh, my.
The American Fan 365.
Yeah,
and I got merch coming, too.
Okay.
I got it. So we're doing some rebranding. So I have to send you some of the stuff, but yeah. So
large.
Starting at large.
Yeah.
All right, I'll see what I can do.
I'm not.
You like hats? You wear hats?
Yeah, I like hats.
Wear hats.
I like hats.
I'll see what I don't wear hats, so I'll see. I guess
hats is dope. Hoodies are dope.
Okay, all right. Hoodies,
crew necks. Surprise me, bro. Surprise
right.
me. Large though. And for anyone listening, you ever want to send some cool shit? It's a large. Size 10 in sneakers. You heard?
Size 10?
Yeah.
I was size 10 and a half at like
5th grade.
Yeah. I was like literally for years, my age was my shoe size for a long time.
Let's go, man. Hey, thank you all for listening. And please, if you're listening to the show, please, it's the best cosign. It's the best endorsement for the show. Tag us. Tell your friends. Post us on social. We'll repost it. It goes a long way. Thank you all for listening, and we'll catch you guys next time.